And we're live. What is up, everyone? Live stream number 2 on deck here. Hopefully we are reading loud and clear here. I hope so, at least. Let me just get the getting some of my settings configured on my end here. I should probably get the chat window. Oh no. We're still going here, right? Why is my audio off? My audio's coming out of my... Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm like messing with audio settings right now, and it's so there should be... How about that? This might be a little loud. Hold on. I have like background music that I'm trying to like not have over stimulate everything. There we go. All right, everyone. How's it going? Now I can actually read the chats and stuff like that. What's up, Kelton? Raymond? Super Vortex Chasers Q2. Southern Ohio in the house. We got Kentucky. Kelton, I know you're on your way back from chasing for a couple months, so hoping your trip has been not too eventful. You know, drives back home. You don't want to be eventful, that's for sure. So anyway, so let's get up and rolling here. Let's make sure that everything works. We got the screen share up and rolling. It's perfect. Oh my gosh, you got people all over the place. Had some... All right. Let's now that we're getting rolling here, I don't know what to look at today. Oh, we don't need that. Actually, maybe we do need that. I was thinking of maybe looking at some tornado damage paths and stuff like that. I haven't really gotten an itinerary planned out for this thing, so. Watching from Southern California. I got Ontario in the house. So family got hit by those tornadoes in a tornado last week. So the weather hit too close to home. Yeah, that was oh, when was that? That was like a subtle day too. Yeah, up in that northwest region of Ohio there. Minnesota, Southern Cali, like I said. Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming this way. Coming in and joining us. When's the next damage analysis video? That's going to be hopefully in the next maybe 2 weeks. Maybe a little less than that. I'm working on the outline for it right now. So I have the storm in question picked, and it'll be recorded hopefully this week, and then editing will be probably about a week's work. The editing's the long part. Oh, I got Carrie Monster in the chat. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. Yeah, so that's when the next damage analysis video is. I know of that. It's been a little bit since the last one. Q2 Spire. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Hopefully the story that got me fascinated with weather. So for some people this might be a little bit of a story that they've already heard before, but you know, I always like telling it because it's a fun one. So I was always into weather. I was always into that kind of thing, you know. But what really got me full on hooked was the June 1st, 2011 Western Massachusetts EF3. I witnessed that tornado cross the southern side of my hometown in West Springfield. Watched it cross the Connecticut River and into downtown Springfield. So that tornado left a very lasting impact on my life, and it, affected me directly. So, yeah, that was the origin story. That's where it got me fully hooked from there on out. Yeah, it was a randomly generated Xbox gamer tag. Yeah, gotta love those. Joplin. Joplin, I think I might do that. See, I have like there's a whole list of tornadoes I can do, right? There's the huge ones that I obviously want to do as well, but the Joplin one's going to take a little bit of time, and because of the fact that there's no readily available sources for the direct damage indicators on the damage assessment toolkit, because that predated when the damage assessment toolkit that the National Weather Service uses standardized it for all National Weather Service forecast offices. So that one's going to take some like serious digging because I don't have a DAT profile for it. So yeah, that one's going to take a little bit of time. Any of those tornadoes that pre-exist the standard use of the DAT is tough. So I'm hoping that I'll have the time to kind of crunch on that one. And I think that I might save it for the anniversary next year, because what I did for the Moore one this year was I wanted to do it on the 10th anniversary. Granted, we've already passed the 10th anniversary of Joplin, but I think that, I'll probably save it for the next anniversary of it. And then at that time too, I'll have made probably a number of other damage analysis videos and I'll get really comfortable with the style, because I'm still working it out a little bit here and there. So, yeah. Thoughts on the Ely tornado? Oh, who doesn't love a good drill bit? I love a good drill bit tornado. Yeah, that's one that probably, it makes a lot of sense why it was an F5. In the traditional sense of EF/F5, you think of the wedge, right? Like that's like your default, and obviously that. But those drill bit tornadoes, if you get it over the right damage indicator, I just think because of the fact that their swaths are so narrow, it's that it misses a lot of things. So, can you still do the April 27th, 2011 tracks? Yeah, I'm going to. I'm telling you guys, I've been so busy lately. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. Between obviously I was out for 2 weeks chasing the To Hunt a Storm series. I'm going to be interlacing those in between my typical videos. So the first episode's out. That was the most recent video I published. So that's kind of like the little bit of chasing that I do and stuff like that. I know that most of you here aren't here for my chasing content, but honestly, those videos are really fun to make. I have the most fun making those chase videos, and it really shows the artistic side, whereas like the damage analysis videos are purely analytical and science-y based. It's hard to get like super creative with them, so I like outletting my creative side and kind of getting free flowing with it out there with those. But yeah, no, the would you ever do Winnie Wood's on the list? It's on the list for sure. I would say I think I have to kind of yeah, Kelton knows what's up. Kelton's in the similar business in terms of making these more informative style videos, but the chasing videos are like kind of like my creative outlet, if you will. Like I know that they aren't gonna analytically do as well, but they're just fun to make. But something I want to shed some light on is in terms of the damage analysis videos, just how long they take to make. So, obviously there's so many tornadoes I want to cover, right? The next one is a fairly recent one. It happened within the past 3 years. So, that one's a little bit more in recent memory. It's a Dixie Alley tornado, so I'll give you that much, and you can speculate which tornado it is. But that one I just started working on, and kind of the timeline that it takes me about, I don't know, like, let me estimate here. It probably takes me about 10 hours to fully flush out an outline and go through the entire damage path and go through all the main, or probably the big damage indicators, and try to pick out interesting ones to me that, you know, haven't been super expanded on and stuff like that. Like, those ones are obviously super intriguing to me. And then where I can try to find some way to get like a mathematical angle on some of them, because obviously, you know, it's good to kind of show those mathematical things that kind of show, you know, some of the foundational science behind it. You know, because after all, like, I'm really into the educational side of things, and I like being able to kind of pull back the curtain on some of these weather events in terms of ratings and all that kind of stuff. Listening as I drive across the South Dakota Anyboard. What's up, Kirk? How's it going? Enjoying your chasecation, I hope. But yeah, so, you know, laying out the outline, doing the math stuff out, you know, that takes, you know, several hours to kind of flush that out and really check my information and stuff like that in order to make sure that I'm not making any math mistakes, because I've done that before. And yeah, so there's that. The filming is probably the quickest part. That usually only takes about an hour and a half to film, because, you know, I'm pretty rapid fire, and I've already absorbed all the information, so I can kind of just rattle it off at that point. And then the edit usually takes, I would say, about per minute of video, it takes about an hour to an hour and a half to edit. If there's a lot of animations, maybe 2 hours per minute of video. So some of my other videos that aren't the damage analysis series, but like the radar video, for example, I think I spent probably upwards of 24 hours editing on that video, plus animations. So maybe more like 30 hours on that video, just on the edit alone. So, yeah, so these videos take a long time to make, and I'm not at a point where I can do this full time, obviously, you know. Still a smaller channel, if you will, so, you know, I still have the day job, and it's kind of crazy how, like, kind of how my schedule is right now. It's a little obsessive, but I enjoy doing this so much. But it's like I work my you know, I get up at 5:30, go to work for 6:30 or 7, work till 4:30 or 5, usually get some form of exercise in because I sit at a desk all day, and then I work on videos until I'll get exercise, shower, eat dinner, and then I'll do videos for the rest of the night until I go to bed. Like, that's my thing. So and then weekends I try to reserve for family time and stuff like that. So it's like I'm trying to you know, kind of keep a healthy balance of, like, June 1st work, my professional, like, the thing that actually makes me money, and then you know, my personal relationships and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on when it comes to behind these videos, and I wish I could pump more content out, like, on a faster basis, but I want to put out quality content, and so sometimes that sacrifices quantity, right? Like, I could probably do these damage analysis videos really fast if I was just, like, talking off the top of my head about them, but obviously there's a lot of prep work that goes into them, and then the animations and stuff like that. So those are the kind of things that go into it, and why there's such, like, a long gap between videos sometimes. I'm gonna scroll back in the comments here and make 2011 El Reno Piedmont, 100%. That's on the list. Like, I have a huge running list right now of tornadoes that I want to cover, so that's 100% on the list. No, I've heard of you, Zane. I've seen you around on the Twitters. I'm just catching up on reading. It's hard for me to speak and read at the same time. 25th. Oh, the 1998 outbreak is something I would love to do a video on, because that is a good one. I mean, whoever gets oh, so what? That was like the last high risk in the Northeast. Not like that happens every day, that's for sure. What do I do for a day job? I'm a mechanical engineer. I do. Let's see. I gotta be careful how I word this. I do mechanical engineering work for a subsystem on submarines, and I'll leave it at that. I mean, if you really want to find out what I do, you could probably just like go on to my LinkedIn profile, but I have to be somewhat on the down low about what I do. You should take a look. Yeah. Yeah, no, that outbreak, I feel like not only like maybe not a damage analysis video, but I feel like that would just be a fun video to do in general. I try to always take some sort of engineering approach to a lot of my videos. I'm not sure if I would with that one. Just because of the fact that I feel like there's so many great people out there doing, you know, great weather educational content out there that I want to kind of keep my own unique angle and not like try to, not that I don't want to rip off people or like try to steal anyone else's thunder, if you will, but, you know, I feel like the engineering aspect is kind of what sets me apart from everyone else. And I feel like in order to succeed and this goes for any space, but at least in the weather space, you have to bring your own unique flavor to everything. Everyone's got their own, you know, niche, and I just happen to be the engineering guy, so that's kind of like this angle that I try to take. So I'm not gonna go find your LinkedIn. I don't care if you go find my LinkedIn, it's fine. It's just that like I just don't like I mean, it's not like super crazy like top secret stuff, but it is like defense stuff that's sensitive, so I try not to be super public about it. Yeah, no, and I think the engineering aspect is something that I think is underserved currently in the space, and that's, you know, it's eventually I want to get to a point where I kind of tailor my professional career in that direction so I can do more engineering work in weather. And I have another like set of videos that I want to do, but it's just, it requires more like, you know, like the videos that I've built the wind tunnel for and stuff like that. Like I want to put, I have, if you didn't know, if you go scroll back further into the channel, like before like the channel really started blowing up, I was posting stuff on, what was it? The aerial supercell measurement system. So I did my capstone project in engineering school. We basically made a giant RC aircraft that dropped sensors into supercell thunderstorms. But I want to kind of revive some of that engineering work that I kind of, you know, the whole idea of June 1st, right? Started not as a YouTube channel, but as just a whole project in general. Like the YouTube channel came from that, obviously. It was all kind of connected, but overall it's how do I put it? I don't know, passion project, lack of a better term. It's a research project. It started through like my university and stuff like that, so that it was university funded and stuff like that. So and then once I got out of university and was no longer getting university funding to build planes that flew into tornadoes, I kind of just pivoted to this YouTube thing because it's cheaper to make videos with equipment I already have than having to continuously buy stuff. But I want to start making some more hardware-based stuff, and I have this idea kicking around for DIY weather balloons and DIY mesonettes and stuff like that. So if that's stuff that you want to see, yeah, definitely reach out about it. A little weird seeing you without a beard. Yeah, no, it's funny. I had a wedding in Colorado back at the beginning of June, so I shaved for that, and I've just been kind of rocking the no beard for a little bit. It'll probably come back at some point. Usually when the beard comes back, it's just because I'm lazy from not wanting to shave, and then I kind of just maintain it a little bit. So yeah, the clean shaven look has been here for a little bit. No brews tonight, just seltzer. I'm still using the keyboard still works, by the way. The spacebar sticks a little bit. For those that were here at the last stream, I like absolutely punted my beer all over my keyboard, and the $10 Logitech keyboard holds true. So a little update there. 10 out of 10 would build a DIY mezzanette kit from June First. That's something that honestly I've been kicking around in my head for the past year and a half or so, is like doing some sort of like weather kit style thing or something like that, or like a DIY like balloon, like weather balloon kit. I feel like it would take a lot of capital in order to make that happen. And I think if like eventually I feel like if the interest gets to a point where that's a thing, like maybe if there's more eyes on the channel down the line, like that's something that I definitely want to do. Just because of the fact that this isn't a full-time prospect for me right now. You know, if I was dedicating like full-time resources to this and had the money, I shouldn't say money, but like the capital to kind of invest in the infrastructure in order to support some sort of DIY like kit creation aspect, because it's going to take capital in order to like, you know, invest in like you know, tooling and stuff like that in order to put together like a manufacturing operation, if you will, or at least get parts sourced and stuff, you know, going through vendors and stuff, unless if I just did it all myself, which would probably become a nightmare logistically speaking. But it's something that I've been kicking around, and hopefully one day that would be a thing. Yeah, the May 31st and June 2nd. Yeah, I mean the reason why, you know, the 2 days, because there needed to be moisture return after that cold front kicked through on the 31st, and then once the moisture returned to the northeast, the kinematics were still very much in play for that event, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why there was that moderate risk, and that was only when there was like 3 categories too. So back in the day. Oh, thanks, Gary. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's something like I said, like I think eventually down the line that's something that I'm definitely gonna like. It's been an idea that I've had for quite a while now. It's just a matter of a resource thing, and I guess the most important resource, like not only like the monetary side of it, but like kind of like the man hours side of it, because it's particularly with the engineering side of it, it's either I'm like focusing my time on engineering efforts, or I'm focusing on video creation. In the past year and a half or so has been pretty much primarily video creation. Like that's like, because I only have, you know, so much time in a day. Like, don't get me wrong, I wish I could be doing this all the time, but like it's just not financially viable at this point. But I think that it's eventually hopefully something that can work down the line. I also like to mention too that I started hanging up from the last live stream. I hung up all of the super chats on like this little wall behind me, so they're all like, I don't think you can directly see them like in the video, like I don't think you can zoom in, but I'm putting them up here. So eventually we'll fill this little cork board eventually through these little live streams that we do every so often. So just something that a token of my appreciation for y'all. Oh, Kirk, thank you so much, man. Dude, you gotta like put that in your gas tank. I need you to catch some storms in North Dakota tomorrow. Your shots from Oklahoma the other day were sick too, by the way. I know I already told you that, but I had to mention it on stream. I was wondering what that was, but it looked cool. Yeah. I figured I had to figure out a way to like pay my respects to the super chats. So, June 2nd included F4 tornado known for passing through. Yep. Yeah, that stretch in 1990 or 1998 was pretty spectacular. I think I'll probably end up doing a video on it at some point. I think in terms of what the schedule is that I have planned right now in terms of June 1st videos. A damage analysis is going to be next. To Hunt a Storm part 2 will be after that. And then I was hoping maybe an engineering type video where I maybe do a DIY mezzanette or something if I have a little bit of extra cash flow around that I can buy some of the parts, because I have the design already made pretty much. Like I have the design already figured out in my head and on paper. It's just a matter of spending it on parts. Top favorite chase day from this year was May. That's tough. I would say, just because of the fact that like it was like a perfect way to end the trip, May 26th, Encino / Vaughn, New Mexico, getting the couple tornadoes there, including that anti-cyclonic one, was cool because that was my first anti-cyclonic tornado, so that was kind of cool to check off the list. And the structure that day too was fantastic. But I think like one like a storm that's gonna like stick with me forever was May 25th, so the night prior, which was that crazy structure show just north of Grady / Clovis, New Mexico, where there was just that epic nighttime supercell with all the lightning and super sculpted storm. Like just like being able to sit there in real time for like, I mean, it was like the storm was borderline stationary for over an hour, and we were just sitting there just letting this thing like, oh my gosh, like I don't have it backed up onto my network storage yet. It's still on the portable hard drive, and I don't have enough USB slots to put in. Otherwise, I would pull up some of my shots from that day. But yeah, that shot was, I think it's my header on Twitter right now. Was that storm. But like just sitting there and like with the 50 knot inflow coming in on the back at night with this crazy, yeah, that structure fest was insane. Zane's question, what are some of your top tier tornadoes? Could be ones I've done or just random. I think Pilger's one that always kind of stands out in my mind. Like I wish I'd chased Pilger, but I did not chase Pilger. But Pilger would be one that I wish I could have seen. Bennington would have been sweet. Both either 2013 or 2016. Yeah, I'm good for a good wedge. Or can't like and then some of like the high base stuff in like Colorado. Like I always think of like Simla would have been an awesome day. Campo, ones that stick out in my mind. Ray, Colorado. Like I love those high plains tornadoes that have the super high elevated bases and just like any of those. Those are the ones that kind of immediately jump to mind for ones that kind of like I wish I could have like seen in terms of like chasing, because I like tornadoes that like don't kill people. It's pretty sad to read about a lot of the stuff like when you really like take it in. The crazy thing too recently now is like with the Perryton storm, and this is something I'm actually going to touch on, I think, in To Hunt a Storm, whichever part we do the May 22nd day, because we positioned in Perryton. We were in Perryton for a couple hours before initiation that day, and it was kind of weird because like we were staying in like a part of town that was like directly impacted by that, so it's a little weird now to like okay, like we were in this spot like for a completely unrelated weather event, and little did we know like where we were 2 weeks later would be hit by a significant tornado. Like it's kind of crazy to like think about that, so that's something it's kind of like I'm gonna have to tie into the Tonto Storm series a little bit. I was wondering, how hard is it to both work a full-time job and do storm chasing? It's a grind, and I kind of addressed that in To Hunt a Storm Part 1, in like the opening monologue in there. Like I know half the video is kind of a monologue in the beginning there, but it stinks because I gotta start off with I'm blessed with the job that I have. Like I have a great job, you know, it has like benefits and stuff like that, and I get a decent amount of paid time off, which is, you know, like not everybody can have that. So I'm in a very like privileged point to begin with. But I think the tough part is that when you're looking at stuff on social media and stuff, there's a select number of people, not many people, but a select number of people that because here's the thing about social media. Everyone like gets depressed on social media and stuff like that, but you have to keep in mind that social media is a very curated view of people's lives. Like, people are going to on purpose post like the best things that they see, right? So you can kind of get this perception like, okay, like I'm seeing this person have all these successes, and all you see is successes, and you go, man, this guy is like so much better than me. But in reality is they're curating what you see. Like, they're posting like the good things that you see. Whereas, and you're not seeing like the days that they busted chasing or stuff like that. Like, this goes for social media as a whole, but I'm talking about it in a chasing context. You have to remember that social media is a curated view. So when I see like, you know, people that are out there like all the time, there's not many people that chase like full time, right? And I don't have necessarily the desire to be a full-time chaser, but I would like, you know, to be able to use like a month of chase, like to go out to the plains for like a month at a time and like be able to chase. And obviously that's like, not many people are able to do that in the first place, but like that's a goal for me that I would like to maybe have one day. So when you see like people that, you know, are out there all the time having success after success after success, just because of the fact that they're out there all the time and they've dedicated their lives to that. Granted, they're sacrificing so much more, but it weighs on you when you're sitting at your desk job. And particularly what happened for me is the week before we went out to the plains this year was that crazy stretch where there was like tornadoes in, you know, like northeast Colorado, that crazy day in Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa. Like, there was that week where that last trough like ejected through, and like just like every day like produced like crazy tornadoes. And it stinks when like you're about to go out there, you can't move your time off because you scheduled this thing 2 months in advance, and you already worked all your work conflicts around, so you had these 2 weeks, so there's no like moving them, right? And yeah, it's just tough. That's kind of like the gripe of working full-time and chasing storms. But I will say the nice thing is that I have also a pretty flexible schedule in terms of like local chases. So up here in the Northeast, when I do local chases, where I can kind of, you know, I can leave work a little bit early and make up hours at the end of the week. So I'll do that. I'll do like you know, I'll leave at like 2 o'clock and then just make up the hours later in the week. So that works. Oh, we got Chris in the chat. What's up, buddy? So yeah, that's just kind of like the balance of doing chasing full time and or no, not chasing full time, being able to, or working full time and trying to chase simultaneously. It's like you're dedicated to the weeks that you take off, and you kind of just hope for the best. And like I said, I wish I could, not that I have the aspirations to be a full-time chaser. What I'd love to do is I'd love to be a full-time I like my full-time career to be in weather, not necessarily through like videos and content creation and stuff like that. The videos, granted, I love making videos and stuff like that, but the videos are an avenue, I think the most reasonable avenue for me to make that a reality, if that makes sense, given the internet age, to give me the most flexible schedule where I can kind of do what I want. Because I've thought a lot about going the academic route, and I'm not sure if I want to do that. Like, I don't know if I want to, like, because if I were going to do it, I would go all the way for PhD. You know, I know that I would go that insane research route. But I think monetarily speaking, I think I can get a better payoff doing what I'm doing now and have more freedom in my career or more freedom in my own schedule, where I can kind of manipulate things how I want through building my own thing, if you will. So that's kind of why I've been focusing so much of my energy in this place. So, yeah. When I think of the Northeast tornado outbreaks, I think of 1979 Windsor Locks, 95 Barrington, Springfield. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of those tornadoes are terrain enhanced tornadoes, just because of the valley channeling and stuff like that has taken place. You know, you look at the Pioneer Valley, the Hudson Valley, and then the natural orthographic lift you're getting off on either side of the valley. So there's no question that Northeast tornadoes are definitely terrain influenced. I mean, the perfect example of that, the June 1st tornado, if you look at when the tornado crossed from the 16 acres through Wilbraham and then dropped into Munson, it's going over that over the, the mountain there in Wilbraham, and then you get this vorticity stretching that occurs on the leeward side of the mountain, where, you basically get, vorticity stretching. So it's strengthening of the tornado. Oh, Doug's in the chat. What's up, Doug? What's my favorite tornado? I don't know if this counts as one tornado, but the Pilger event in 2014. 20 That's still, or maybe if it's singular tornado, I don't know. There's too many to pick from. Bennington, Kansas, or Campo, Colorado. Hamden Tornado 2020. What about the Hamden Tornado 2018 too? Can't hate on that one either. Doug, don't get me started about the 2020 Hamden Tornado when I was out in Western New York, or in upstate New York in the Hudson Valley. Meanwhile, when my apartment was getting hit. You guys missed it though. Barely though. Ooh, Washington, Illinois is a good answer. Campo or bust. Amen. Southeast Colorado for the win. Except for the fact that Southeast Colorado road network is certified dicey. Speaking of, can I like play? I don't know if I should do videos on here of other people's. Well, I guess it's not like I'm stealing their stuff directly, but if we did, I want to look at like Campo footage now. Let's get the screen share going. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Want to spend more time obsessing over every stitch? Shopify's tools help you sell every.
Let's go full screen here. My little video preview's in the way. I'll put this. Like, where is it at? Like peak? Yeah, look at that. Oh, and how could I forget Dodge City 2016? All right, I sub out my Campo pick for Dodge City. Put that over there. Dalton Ashby was pretty sweet too. Recency bias though. I mean, I feel like any tornado that we've mentioned in like the 2010s is just recency bias. I mean, there's some crazy tornadoes from back in like the 90s and stuff that I can think of, like super photogenic tornadoes. But I imagine there's so many like great like photogenic tornadoes that have never really been like talked about just because of the fact there was nobody there to document them. It's like pre-internet age and stuff like that. I can only imagine like probably some of the most photogenic tornadoes. My favorite Northeast tornado was the Binghamton, New York F3 that was on the grounds. Yeah, no, that was a big one. Go back to full view of my face. Everybody loves my face, right? Which one was your Canton Lake 2011? Oops. I had to I'm just reminding myself of oh, that was part of the May 24th day. Okay, that's what I thought. Hypothetical. Don't get me started. Colorado on Wednesday. Colorado's either going to do one of two things on Wednesday, and that's going to be either it's going to be storm of the year or like tornado. It's going to tornado of the year, or it's going to just be an absolute HP fest right off the bat. It's just going to blow up instantly. Because I saw like forecast soundings of like 4,000 cape in Colorado, which is just stupid. I found I'm like looking on the, I know I'm not sharing my screen right now, but I found one of those like hypothetical tornado outbreaks. I know people like, there's probably like, I personally hate these things, and oh my god, what is this? What is this monstrosity? I have to share this now because this is just like too funny not to share. I'll just get my screen share going again. What is this? What is it? Is it supposed to be critical? Also, what are these shapes? Like, if thinking about it from a meteorological standpoint, like, what? It makes no, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, meteorologically, like, how could this ever happen? In terms of, like, okay, how are you getting, like, an enhanced risk over four corners like that? Like, you're getting wedges through, like, 14,000-foot mountains. All right, this is the this is the hypothetical tornado outbreak of May 30th through 31st, 2018. Is this just a photoshopped like tornado image? Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Highest winds 304 miles per hour, Woodward, Oklahoma. Holy. See, that's the thing with these hypothetical things. It's just like they just want to like boost these crazy statistics and stuff. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the joy in making these. Like, you just want to like think of the worst case imaginable. Like, I know it's probably just some like whatever. There's just like kids doing this, like whatever. Like, I'm not like it's innocent, right? But like I just don't get the fascination of it. Like, why would you want 870 odd people to be dead? Like, why would you hypothetically like craft this thing? I don't get it. Ooh, is it the Cordova EF4? I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah. But what's getting me is like they clearly masked out this tree line. Like, that looks like this looks like a poorly done Photoshop. At least this image. That's legit, obviously. Yeah, that thing's a monster. That's just ridiculous. April 27th, man. Like, what the heck? See you, Kelton. Yeah, get home. Wait, was there? Did they actually say 5.2 miles wide? Did I miss that? How many EF5? 5 EF5s. They had to one up the super outbreak. No, nothing about width. Anyway. Alright, that's enough hypothetical tornadoes for me. Yeah, I think, yeah, Wyoming, I think Wyoming's a little over 300,000 people. Whatever it is, it's still the least populated state. I know that. Oh, I mean, wow. Almost 600,000. That's close. I'll be in Wyoming in, well, primarily Montana, but September I'm going to be out in Montana/Wyoming doing some national park stuff. On top of, like, well, I'm going there for a wedding, but I'm taking a week. My last week of vacation that I have available to do some national park stuff before the wedding, so that'll be fun. Anywho. Only half the population. Are you ever planning on doing a damage analysis on Smithville? Yes, it's on the list. Yeah, Smithville is definitely on the list. That's the one that, like, that's like, I have this whole, I need to, like, here's the thing. I want to do something on ground scouring. Like, I want to do, like, a dedicated video to ground scouring. But, unfortunately, there's not a lot of science on ground scouring as it stands right now. And I don't know if I have the expertise. Actually, I know I don't have the expertise to come up with any reasonable stuff about ground scouring. So eventually, hopefully that I'll be able to cover it at some point, maybe on a very superficial level. But I need to talk to someone that knows a thing or two about soils. And because I'm a mechanical engineer, not a civil engineer, I know nothing about soils. And fortunately, I know people that do know stuff about soils. So I'm hoping to maybe do some further research for that. But that's something that's going to be like down the line, unfortunately. So yeah, I need. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you have civil engineers that are like fully specialized in soils, and there's like so much science to soils, from my understanding. Like, from my adjacent engineering disciplines I remember my friends who were civil engineering majors like always complaining about their soils classes, and I was like, is there really that much like about like in terms of like being able to like pick the right foundations and stuff based on your soil densities and stuff. And it's funny, I actually did a little bit of like soil stuff for the Katrina video that I did, which is honestly one of my most like underappreciated videos on the channel that I wish had more views. But basically that video was the premise that Hurricane Katrina was an engineering disaster, which it was an engineering disaster. I'll fully commit to that. If those levees hadn't have failed, I don't think Katrina would have been a storm that we look back on as much. It would have been, obviously it would have been a bad hurricane, right? Like, we would have looked on it back at like to the same capacity as Laura, for example. But because the levees failed, that's why it was such a catastrophic hurricane. $19.99 Bridge Creek Moor, 2013 El Reno. Yeah, those are ones that just seeing him in the chat. I know you weren't asking about damage analyses specifically, but both on the list. Like I said, this list is a very long list, and it takes time to crunch through some of these. And the response to Katrina was definitely very. You used the right word there. Abhorrent. I was trying to think of another a synonym, but you got the right idea. You articulated it better than me. I'm trying to use more vocab words because my engineering brain is very smooth to English and the English language as a whole. Do you have a specific... Ooh, I like this question a lot. From Mr. Arizona in the chat. Do you have a specific tornado on your list that you are most excited to make a video about? I feel like once I figure out the ground scouring side of things, like Smithville probably up there, because I mean, I feel like that's like everybody, like that's like the go-to answer almost, because like just of like how insane that tornado was. But probably other than that one, probably Piedmont 2011. Those two are probably like those are the two that I can think of that are arguably like some of the strongest tornadoes. But those ones just like there is going to be a lot of work involved in order to like make those happen. Because there's that oil derrick that I got to look into for the Piedmont one, and like obviously I want to do the Piedmont tornado. Like that's going to be like one that I definitely want to tackle. So if you make a video about ground scaring, you should mention different types of soils and different. Yeah, exactly. That's what it all comes down to, is like soil makeups and stuff like that. So, and composition and how the actual like soil molecules like interact with each other and like permeability and stuff like that. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. Just on the superficial that I've looked into it, I just wish there was more like concrete research in terms of like how it happens. Because I have like a couple ideas of how it happens. Like part of me is like because the pressure is so low that it like agitates like air from underneath the dirt or something. If depending on like how it like, but I just don't understand enough about soils in order to like make these conclusions. There's definitely people that are way smarter than me and have way more experience than I do that could probably come to much more reasonable hypotheses. So that's kind of like what's holding me back. Yeah, Philadelphia too, of course. Yeah, like any of those 2011 super outbreak tornadoes are kind of all in that kind of on that list. 2 foot deep trenches is actually incomprehensible. How much lift do you even need for that? That's the thing. It's like, okay, like you take your tornado, you're basically a tornado is just a giant area of low pressure if you think about it that way, and you kind of see, I keep thinking with ground scouring, it's less about wind speeds and more about like pressure differentials and stuff. Because I think like here's my theory on ground scouring. This could be completely wrong, but my idea is that there's like obviously if you have like dry soils and stuff like that, or maybe not even dry soils, but you're gonna have like obviously all the little particulates of soils are all like stacked together, right? But they're not like perfectly like compact. There's going to be little gaps of air and stuff like that in there, right? So if you have a super low pressure, you know, a tornado over top this area where you have this ground scouring taking place, you have like, you basically highlight this area where you have really low pressure, and then like the pressure that's like within the air and the soil, if that makes sense, to the point where there's enough of a difference where the higher pressure that's trapped in the soil has the lifting force, like the difference between the two is enough to the point where it basically like lifts and cultivates the soil. Like that's how I almost theorize like it would work, but I don't know like if that's like a reasonable hypothesis to make. That's my idea though. Like that's how I visualize it in my head, because the idea of like surface, like it all being surface friction makes like no sense to me, or like doesn't seem reasonable to me, I should say. At least I don't know, it's tough to say. Oh, a super chat. Thank you, Paige. Can't wait to see this channel grow. Keep up the good work. Love your chasing. Thank you so much. You're going up on the board of super chat appreciation. I really really take the kind words to heart, because I like people seeing that they like the chasing videos too, because I mean, obviously the damage analysis videos are always kind of like the bread and butter of the channel at this point, but I'm glad people are enjoying the chasing stuff too. Could it be a mix? Yeah, it's probably a mix of the two in terms of you know, the surface friction as well as, like, you know, the air stuff, like such downward pressure and downward pressure. Maybe, because I think that comes back to like how you fundamentally think of what a tornado is, I guess. Like, what is it like? Because I always think of tornadoes as low pressure. So what you could have, though, because like the way I conceptualize, like on like a very fundamental level, is with a tornado is like the updraft in a thunderstorm in a supercell is so strong that it's sucking all the air up into the updraft, that there needs to be air that takes its place. And so that's how and it just does it in an organized fashion. So that's how I like conceptualize, and that's how like tornadoes like make a full condensation funnel, is it because that pressure's dropping, you are dropping the temperature, or you're closing that ideal gas spread needed in order to reach that condensation temperature, because you have pressure and temperature, which are like your two main variables that are determining your condensation temperature. If you drop the pressure, the temperature comes down on the other side to the point where it meets that dew point. That's where you get LCLs and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like, I'm an engineer. I'm not a meteorologist, but like I think of like, here's the thing, a little bit about me. I love tornadoes, don't get me wrong, but I think supercells are way more fascinating than tornadoes. I think tornadoes are just the byproduct of supercells. And the fact that like you get a storm, like you get a thunderstorm that is only, you know, a couple dozen miles across, right? Like in terms of like anvil and precipitation and all, like these very small scale storms in the grand scheme of things that can manipulate their environment so efficiently. Like the fact that they like are able to like just sustain themselves without like on their own, basically. It's the craziest thing to me. So I'm a geek for supercell dynamics and stuff like that. And there's so much crazy stuff about it, but yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, with Crowl, that's a good example. Yeah. So you see like all the air, the dust, that like the inflow pulling in all that dust, and then, you know, you get your pressure dropping, so it's starting to condensate down and stuff. Yeah. I'm reading back. Some become objects. Wonder if a weak tornado has burned us. I'm just reading back on some very good thoughts going on in here. I'm just kind of reading through some of the chats here just to kind of see what everyone. Oh, the Mineral Point, Wisconsin. That's the one that's like it was like filmed via helicopter, like back in like, I don't know what year it was. Was that the 90s? Wisconsin tornado. Oh no, that's the one that had that the expansion wave theory. That was the one that like had the sonic boom, right? Yeah, Ridley. Okay, that was what I was thinking of. But I know what you're talking about now, the Mineral Point one. My brother, who is actually moderating in the chat right now, he has a very good theory when it comes to expansion. Should I have he's actually across the room right now. Should I have him come in and explain his expansion wave theory in terms of how tornadoes are able to break the sound barrier? Have you ever thought about becoming a wind engineer and work for the National Weather Service? Yes, I've thought a lot about becoming a wind engineer. That's something that I think about pretty often, and it's something that I want to kind of tailor my career path towards. It's just very tough to kind of figure it out without going into academia. Connor, come this way. I know you're listening. He's in the other room, so. Oh, I forgot there's like a delay on stream. He'll be here in a second, probably. I'll let him explain. I'll let him explain expansion waves because he's I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. He's an aerospace engineer, so he has a much better understanding of fluid mechanics than I do and fluid dynamics.
What up?
Oh, speaking of the devil.
You know I've been listening. I've been moderating.
We're getting Connor in the hot seat.
Oh my goodness.
Get in there.
All right, hold on. You gotta get out of the way first. Come on.
All right, just you don't need the headphones, by the way. That's just.
Why is it Oh.
No, the headphones are like I don't know. It's just
for...
it's just the background music right now.
Well, what if I want to listen to your background music?
You can listen to the background music.
Oh, I'm listening to the background music. You can't tell me what to do. All right, what's up, everybody?
So expansion waves, Mineral Point.
Yeah. All right. So the thing is behind, of course, tornadoes are sort of a low pressure system that.
I'll have to call out his shirt too.
Oh yeah.
Look
at this.
This kid went to a very smart boy school.
If anybody can diagnose what this means, then you get a sticker. No, actually, no, you don't get a sticker. Oh wait, Ethan, are you gonna get them a sticker if somebody can successfully diagnose this?
Yeah, I'll get you a sticker.
All right, and I'm not helping you.
Thank you, MTS. I thank you very much for your super chat.
Oh yes,
Glad
thank you very much.
Hang out.
MTS, you're going on the board now too. If you're.
Sorry for the sidetracks, but.
Oh
right,
no, that's fine.
I'll let you do your work.
As tornadoes draw in air, expansion waves and compression waves are kind of like two sides of a coin, where compression waves, or I should say, if you have a sort of like a piston cylinder as like a hypothetical idealized space, so if you have like a cylinder and you push it into a fluid, that's what compression waves do, and they sort of travel along the fluid profile and generate a compression wave. But the thing is, expansion waves, they're sort of like if you pull the piston back, and that means they counter the flow of a fluid. So as you have this fluid flowing and you have a drop in pressure, that expansion wave propagates along the flow, so it basically counters the inflow. And so you still hear the drops in pressure. You experience sound in the same way. As pressure rises, as pressure falls, you get somewhat of the same sound, but it's both in the way that expansion waves propagate. They kind of disperse themselves over time, so they don't really generate like a sonic boom, as sonic booms are made by compression waves. But I would say that it's a
similar method.
Yeah, it's a similar method where there's a very rapid pressure drop in a small amount of time, where you are getting these fluids change very rapidly. I would say you're starting to get to the compressibility threshold, which you're above 0.3 the speed of sound. So I'm extremely rambling on here. Let me just take a look at the chat. By the way, have tornadoes imploded, or, well, I would say that's what Mineral Point did. It had such a very high pressure drop at one point where the vortex squeezed in on itself and sort of generated this event that I don't think we even really caught so far, or really fully explained in terms of a fluid dynamics standpoint. Because I was doing research on this, there's only like a series of papers from 2001 that I've caught so far. So I need to find some additional work before I can fully flesh out this and turn it into a video for June 1st. So this is a lot.
We are doing a video on it.
We will. And I have a Twitter thread from like a year ago already that.
You should link that Twitter thread when you.
Oh, I should.
He'll link his expansion wave thing in the Twitter thread in the chat. So
yeah. So that'll be there, and that explains it a lot better because then I actually have some preparation to actually write that down. Oh.
Okay, what part of the ideal gas law am I missing? Okay, so you're getting the right idea with ideal gas. Are you talking about a shirt? I think. Because
yeah.
that is part of the ideal gas law.
Yes.
His shirt is spelling something out via math equations.
Yes.
It basically says where he went to school.
Yes.
So. Anyway. Thank you, Connor, for stepping in.
I will link my stuff.
He'll put stuff in the chat via his account.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So expect a link in there in the future. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Connor, for your glorious work. The seat is now significantly hotter than it was before.
Yes, I am a warm person.
I'm not suggesting that he whatevered the seat, but it is definitely a little warmer than it was prior. Do I wear a hat now? Nah, we're just going with messy hair. Thank you, Connor. All right, he'll put his expansion wave Twitter thread in the chat if you want to read up more on it. And then, yes, we're gonna do that as a future video idea too, so that'll be fun. Tornado implodes in Wisconsin. I think I should make a video about very unusual places tornadoes have formed. That's an interesting video idea. I will also, I'll plug a it's like same idea, different like type. Like how do I phrase this? I'm gonna plug my buddy Chris's video. He did a video on unusual tornado paths, like different like interesting tornado path shapes and stuff. So I would recommend that as well. Connor can link that in the chat as well, I'm pretty sure. So I know Chris was in the chat here earlier. I'm not sure if he's still around, but Connor will link it in the chat either way. So I recommend that video but that is a fun idea, the unusual places where tornadoes have formed. I kind of like that because there are definitely some unusual places. If you go to Tornado Archive, you could probably find some really fun ones. His shirt did not say MIT. His shirt said WPI. So the FD, that's the equation for work. So force times the distance is work. The middle one was the ideal gas law. So P equals like the nRT over V. And then the last term was I, because the square root of -1 is an imaginary number, and an imaginary number you denote with the letter I. So WPI, that was what his shirt said. Worcester Polytechnic Institute of Technology. He is certified smart boy. He's the smart one in the family. Like, you think I'm like, I'm not, I'm actually not the smart one. He's the smart one. I promise. And there's Chris's video that we were talking about earlier. Connor's got it linked down below. I'm surprised that Mount Holly used a tornado emergency for any. I think because of that tornado emergency, the radar presentation was pretty harsh on that like it was a very like shear induced tornado. Because that was on was that on the Ida day? The Ida Remnants Day? Was that September 1st, I think. Yeah, I think it was more like a radar presentation thing that like led, and the fact that it's a populated area. I think the populated area usually warrants the tornado emergency more so. Oh yeah, the Teton tornado. Yeah, some of those high elevation tornadoes are super fascinating. Oh, and there's Connor's thread. Yeah, okay. September 1st. Which was a crazy day. Another one of those days where you had tornado warnings on top of flash flood warnings. And always, always, always take action for the flash flood warning over a tornado warning. Flash floods are way more impactful than tornadoes. I'll tell you that first thing. So if you have a flash flood warning over a tornado warning, they say conflicting things because the flash flood warning is going to tell you to go upstairs. Tornado warning is going to tell you to go downstairs. And in a flash flooding emergency, let me tell you, take action on the flash flood because that's going to be a way more widespread. You're going to be much more likely impacted by a flash flood than you are a tornado warning. That is, and like if you look at that day, the what's it called? The Ida Remnants Day. September 1st, 2021, there were over 60 fatalities due to flash flooding related incidents, and I think there were only 2 or 3 fatalities to tornadoes that day in the Northeast, something like that. Either way, it was way more flash flood deaths, and that had to do with like basement apartments and stuff like that in the New York City area, as well as yeah, the Ida remnants. Yep. Which Storm Chasers do you watch live if you do? I actually really don't watch. I'm like too busy to watch like Chaser live streams, unfortunately. You know, it's funny, like I've like kicked around the idea of like doing a live stream, but like that's just too much like logistical work to make that. Like I like chasing just to chase. Like I'm not trying to be a full-time chaser. And some of these other guys, there's a lot of people that are taking that avenue and that career path, and I respect them for it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really watch the live streams. I don't really watch chaser live streams. Man, I probably should. I mean, they look like fun. But yeah, no. I like just getting like the curated views of like yeah. Vortex breakdown. Yeah. Oh, Vortex breakdown stuff is still wicked cool dynamic stuff. I was thinking of building like a Vortex generator at some point. Just like a big like box fan on top of like a plexiglass box with a smoke stream. That'd be cool. You should live stream a Northeast event. I will, maybe. If it's a high enough Northeast event, I'll be like the only person out there with a live stream so everyone will tune in. Maybe that's something we'll explore. It's just I just like if I can set it up and like not have to work, like I can just set it up and let it run, then I'll let it do its thing, or have like some like third person moderator like take care of it while I'm chasing, because I already do a lot while chasing because Connor drives and I do the navigating, forecasting, primary video shooting, and all that. So it's like I have a lot of hats to wear already, and to manage a stream on top of it would just be like too much for me. It'd be like multitasking overload. Cure Hawk, what do you do for daytime work? I'm a mechanical engineer in the defense industry. I work on a specific subsystem for submarines. That's about as much as I can say. you really want to find out what I do, go to my LinkedIn. I said that earlier, I think, too. So, fair enough. It's a lot of driving, and there's like a little. I can't see the full chat. Lots of skies. Follow my occasional intense intercepts. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm telling you right now, I just like, I would love to like have more downtime, but literally, like, I'm kind of like, all of my free time is dedicated to June 1st. I like don't I don't think the like, and I guess the one thing that I do to like fully relax is hockey. Like, I'll watch NHL hockey because I grew up playing hockey. But now that the hockey season's over, it's like, it's just gonna be full-time June 1st thing from here on out. Like here's like, I laid this out earlier, but I'll say it again. My typical like my typical week is get up at 5:30, go to work for 6:37, work until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and then exercise in some capacity, eat dinner, do June 1st work until I go to bed. That's like my workflow for the week. And then I try to leave weekends open for family time. So that's kind of like, that's what it's a lot, but I do it for the love of doing this. I love making content for y'all, and I just love studying tornadoes and stuff like that. Has there ever been a nocturnal rain-wrapped wedge tornado? Yes. I think one of the most infamous ones that you can look up in recent history is the Turkey, Texas wedge. What was that, 2016? That was the day before Dodge City, I'm pretty sure. I think that was May 23rd. Yeah, no, there's been plenty of nighttime rain-wrapped wedges. My hair is like all sorts of... I don't even know what's going on at this point. I don't know. Late night streaming, what can I say? Stream hair, don't care. I kept saying chase your hair, don't care. Yeah, let's look it up. Hold on. I feel like I haven't been looking up stuff much. Let's look up let's go to YouTube. And let's do the well, I guess it wasn't really quite rain wrapped, but my good buddy Max Olson. He's got like stills and stuff.
Is that just a big ass tornado? That looks like a huge tornado.
Yeah,
Whoa,
let's don't
like
be in it.
Tornado.
Holy
Oh, it
shit,
is.
that's a fucking wedge.
Yeah, let's don't
Shots
be
a
in
little
it.
out of focus. I love it.
Holy tornado, that's a fucking wedge. Wow.
Little
It's gonna
profanity.
creep up like 10 more feet so that tree's not in our way. That thing coming toward us?
It's barely moving. Oh my god, Gary.
Anyway, you get the point. Dark nighttime wedge. Don't mess with it. Move my little preview window over here so you can still see my beautiful face. Yeah, Max is the man. He's my boy. He's got some cool projects coming up in the future too. You should all be keeping an eye out for. Yeah, I don't think Max streams, but like Max Olson and I would say Aaron Rigsby are like some of the chasers that I look up to the most, I would say. Those are like two of the guys that I really... A photo channel. Oh, hey Shane, how's it going? OG chasers in the chat. Yeah, in terms of when I was talking earlier about photogenic recency bias, when we were talking about tornadoes that like when we talk about like tornadoes that everyone wants to wish to have seen, yeah, like the recency bias is such a major thing because you have that many more people that are chasing storms. But like, I bet Shane, if there's anyone that has seen photogenic tornadoes that people don't normally think of just because of the fact that they don't have that recency bias anymore, Shane would be the guy to talk to for that. A little unrelated and absurd, but if you call it, what's the most concerning thing you've heard a broadcast meteorologist say? It was recent. What was the one? There was that meteorologist. Was it in Arkansas? It was recent. It was this year, I think. It was earlier this year. There was that guy that, you know, he almost like broke down on air. But he kept it composed. But that was the one that like you could feel the tension in that moment. I forgot exactly what he said, but I wonder if I can look that up. I'm just gonna say meteorologist reacts to tornado. That probably yields a result. Yeah, it was this one. Overwhelmed meteorologist. Can I just watch it on YouTube? I don't want to watch it on like any, because they're just gonna pump me full of ads. But it was this guy. I guess we'll watch it. Maybe we can watch it.
So Amory, we need to be in our tornado safe place. We got a new scan coming in here as we speak. Oh man, like north side of Amory, this is coming in. Oh man. Dear Jesus, please help them.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's the one that hit me the most, I think. Good question. Yeah, because I was gonna say that was yeah. Mike Morgan said the infamous drive south comment. South is relative in the context of a tornado, that's for sure. Depends where the heck you are. Actually, one of those stations in Mass and on June 1st show the tornado progress. Yeah, I think that was the CBS 3 broadcast, CBS 3 Springfield, because I think the 20, or maybe it was the 22 News one. The 22 News one was the one that everyone kind of remembers. I could rattle those off easy because those are my local news stations. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched the full stream of either of those. But Nick Bannon and Brian Lapis with the legendary calls. Nick Bannon's now a meteorologist down in Austin for what's that Austin station? What's the Austin NW or Connor? Can you figure out what Austin station Nick Bannon's at now? He was one of my favorite 22 News guys. I think he was my favorite 22 News meteorologist. He was the one that I interacted with on the most regular through the Twitters and stuff when I would chase locally. Yeah, of course. James Spann. Yeah, KXAN. Thanks, Connor. James Spann. That's the classic one, right? But I just remember the Amory one. That one like stuck out because, you know, the fact I feel like James Spann, he's just like so seasoned at it. He's just like Mayfield, Kentucky damage analysis went. I think I'm gonna do that for the anniversary. Yeah, James Spann is a legend. Respect the Polygon. Am I right, folks? Mayfield, Kentucky damage analysis. I'm gonna I think I'm gonna shoot for the anniversary for that one, so I'll save that for December. Some of those like high-profile tornadoes, like I'm gonna save for the anniversaries. So I think Joplin I'll do for May of next year, but I'll time it so that happens. Then I'm working on the next damage analysis as we speak. That one's gonna be a more recent tornado, and it's a southeast Dixie Alley tornado that has happened in the past 3 years. That's true. Great radio voice on James Spann. He really does, yeah. Yeah, because like he does like the Weather Brains podcast and stuff too, and he just has like such a natural voice for that too. I feel like I should look at the camera directly more. I'm just too enveloped in the chat. See, I should just put like the camera that I'm using right now, I should put it like right in front of me. But the way I have my monitors set up, I have them. My desk is kind of weird because it has like these 2 stands for like speakers. So I have only space for one monitor, so I put the other one above it. So that's why I'm like looking up and down. I have a weird monitor configuration. So the camera defaults to one side. Yeah, the James Spann coverage for April 27th is... And his coverage on the Easter outbreak too is another good one of 2020. Should we get into the topics that should have been rated EB5? Would you consider doing? Yeah, I was talking about this earlier in terms of Smithville. I'll cover Smithville once I have a better idea of how to analyze ground scouring, because that's one that it seems like everyone likes the side angle. But yeah, I'm trying to get more information on ground scouring. There's not a lot of published research on ground scouring, but I'm working on trying to build a more foundational understanding of ground scouring, because I have a couple theories on it that I was discussing a little bit earlier. But yeah, I don't know. Those will come eventually. Once I get my head wrapped around ground scouring a little bit more, then I'll definitely dive into it. Because like those are like obvious tornadoes that are on the list, you know. Who saw the damage? It was funny when we were talking about Perryton earlier, and I was telling the story of like we were waiting in Perryton on May 22nd earlier this year for an initiation for storms in the Oklahoma Panhandle. And it was weird, like we were staying in the part of town that got hit, like we were like hanging out around there, like there's like a park nearby and stuff, and it was weird. It was like the fact that like, oh, like that spot I was standing in like 2 weeks later was gonna get hit by a tornado. You know, I wonder if it's up in it's probably up in the toolkit now, if I had to guess, right? Because I know they got a rating on it in terms of EF3, I think. What day was that? Was it the 15th? Yep. Yeah, okay, here we go. Let me, okay, so they only have the EF3 damage. Yeah, this is exactly where we were in town, too. Yeah, it was that north side of town. Because we were hanging out at one of the gas stations, like, at that part of town. Yeah, I mean... EF3 seems about right. You know, a lot of these older plains towns, you know, with, you know, the masonry type buildings, older buildings, and a lot of and the most tragic part, who had the images? It was probably Brandon Clement, if I had to guess. One of those drone guys. Let's see if I can find... I know I quote tweeted the image. Oh, the June 1st one is not logged into any of my accounts. Oh, is this gonna force me to like sign in? I guess I'll pull up the other. Do-do-do. Looking into my backside of my profile. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, it was Brian, the other drone guy. Okay, this was the most important image I think out of the Perryton event. All of these, as you can see, manufactured homes. And if you look at the damage, all right, look. Gone, 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 gone. Like, just look, like, what's this? One, like, 20 some odd homes just completely gone. Let me hammer it home. I'm gonna look directly into the camera for this. Don't shelter in manufactured or trailer homes. They are garbage. They are garbage. They are garbage. They are garbage. Oh, I broke my mic stand. Not actually. They just became unthreaded. But anyway, trailer homes, manufactured homes will basically succumb to EF1 tornadoes. So, for the love of God, if you live in a manufactured home, one that doesn't have a proper foundation, in a tornado warning, you are way better off outside of that thing. I'll tell you that right now, as you can see. I mean, we know that the Perryton tornado wasn't like, an EF4, EF5, but it doesn't take much to completely topple these trailer homes. They are by far the worst thing you can shelter in terms of any sort of structure. So, I think there's 6 fatalities now. Or wait, no, maybe 3 tornadoes directly with this one. There might be other fatalities with other storm-related fatalities, but I saw the number 6 somewhere. Yeah, so wood built pier, yeah, and beam, yep. Yeah, anything that's not on like a proper foundation that doesn't have, they're just like, they're not built for this. Which sucks to see, and it's like you hope to see that there's shelter, like there should be like public tornado shelters in these areas that have. Yeah. Yeah, it's just tough to see. But those tornadoes, the ones that happened south of town though, those were very photogenic. Oh, look at my weird recommended videos right now. I'm getting recommended my own live stream. Anyway. But yeah, so these are some of the main, I guess, classification, the indicators that classified this tornado ultimately. So I get this, like, this is the top comment that I probably get on my damage analysis videos is, how did you, where do you get this information? Damage Assessment Toolkit. Here's the link. If you ever want to look at tornado damage paths, there you go. Yeah. It's just crazy to think that it's like I was just here like not that long ago. Because I think we were up here waiting for storms that day as we were hanging out. If I'm not mistaken, right, Connor? Was it up around here? Somewhere around here? So there was a gas station like right here. Yeah, what do I think of 2023 so far? I think 2023 is like in terms of like I think it'll probably finish at like at about average. But in terms of like events, it's been a bunch of like wild events. I mean, the 31st through 1st outbreak, I think that is now ranked as the third biggest outbreak in U.S. history. I think it passed the Easter outbreak. '31st was the third largest tornado outbreak of all time, and no one talked. Been a couple smaller outbreaks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's always storms. It's just that like worst until the next tornado. Yeah, exactly. Every tornado is the worst tornado until the next tornado. Yep. There's so much coverage in every single. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Shane. I think the thing is with some of those tornadoes, like with the May 31st event, that happened over a much more sparsely populated area than some of the areas of the Deep South, I would say. And then also, too, I think it's also worth mentioning that there's probably also significant agricultural damage that takes place, which is something people kind of forget about, is that, oftentimes with these, not necessarily the tornadoes themselves, but a lot of times with the hail, you get severe agricultural losses, where you get, just fields and fields of, crop, millions of dollars of crop that just get lost due to hail because they just flatten all the crops and just kill them. So that's something to also keep in mind, that hailstorms are the deadliest severe storm byproduct, or wow, not deadliest, costliest severe storm byproduct by far. It's not tornadoes. It's usually hail. I think a classic example of that was May 2017 or June 2017 hailstorm in Denver, Colorado. Like that was like a 2-point-something billion dollar event. I've heard of DVD sized hail. Yeah, I think they've used that. They use that form of measurement. Yeah, the derecho. Yep. Yeah, lightning. I mean, especially in like the coastal states, lightning always picks off a couple chaser drivers. Yeah, exactly. A farmer can lose their entire crop yield in one storm, which isn't insane to think about. Yeah, not only that, but like you get wind-driven hail too, which is pretty terrifying. And then you got to think, like, if you have a hailstorm over an airport, you damage a ton of aircraft. Like the moment you damage the leading edge on an airplane wing, you got to replace the whole dang wing. Yeah, so yeah, you don't want them with softballs. They're pretty, not like they're getting chucked that far. They're pretty committed to their path. Yeah, exactly. I imagine the livestock covers, they're just getting holes punched through them once the hail gets above golf ball size, probably. Yeah, Gerald's definitely on the list for damage analysis for sure. That one's gonna be tough. It's gonna take a little bit more research because obviously there isn't the damage assessment toolkit readily available for that. But there's enough published imagery and stuff out there where it can be done. We don't really get. Ooh, Scotland. Yeah, the British Isle is not one for super severe weather. What do you think of the Windsor, Colorado tornado? Crazy to think of a high-end EF3 up there. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's super fascinating tornado up there. up in the Greeley area, because that's like super anomalous for up there. But no, that was definitely a crazy one, because that was a part of the same system that ultimately produced the Parkersburg event. Yeah, Gerald is such an interesting tornado. Like where it happened, how it happened. There's just so many things off with that one. I'm reading up on the chat. Yeah, I think Gerald will be one that I definitely tackle at some point. Was Mayfield a mile wide? I think so. I think it just cracked in under a mile. It's an easy answer to this question. Google. Doesn't have a width. I could probably just... It was about a mile wide. At its widest point. Extreme instability and boundaries. Yep. Oh, Pear Tree. Good to see you, buddy. Gonna chase any hair? I'd like to experience at least one hurricane. There isn't, like, the thing with hurricanes is, like, the thing I love about like mesoscale severe and chasing supercells, because I just love the supercell dynamics and stuff like that. Like, I geek out over that kind of stuff. But there's like the thrill of the hunt, like the forecast side of it, which I don't feel like you get with hurricanes. Hurricanes, it's just like, okay, like, you know where it's gonna be a day out. Like, it's more just the experience, like the wind and stuff like that. So I feel like I would like to get at least one of those under my belt. I think if I were to do it, I would go with someone that has done it a bunch of times. I wouldn't do it on my own, because I don't feel comfortable putting myself in that situation without I feel like I could prepare enough for it, but I'd rather just go with some, like, just kind of peace of mind type of thing. I would go with someone that's done it before, you know. Colorado and EF3 that moved due west in 2015. Loops of radar and velocities looked weird. It's the closest big town to the Windsor tornado. EF3 that moved west. I'm from Greeley, people. Still have not stopped talking about that tornado. That makes sense. I mean, that was super anomalous for that time, right? How many fatalities were on that Windsor tornado? Like 8 or something, I think. What? It was... Yeah, it's not necessarily the rain, it's the storm surge that I'd say is the danger. So you kind of have to park your... And then flying debris, of course, and stuff like that. But, like I said, if you want to talk about weird tornado paths, I would go check out Chris Risky's video on it. I think Connor linked that in the chat earlier, but if you don't mind, Connor, can you throw that in the chat again? Because Chris did a really good job with that video. And he's my buddy, so I'm going to throw the plug. Yeah, few injuries. 1 fatality, few injuries. Okay, that's what it was. Maybe we should watch a video of that tornado. Why not? Videos. Tornado footage. Maybe I just gotta look it up on YouTube. Windsor CO tornado 2008. And turn on the screen share. Whoa. Like, that looks like something that's out of Oklahoma. That's crazy. Yeah, just your casual Colorado tornado. Right? Like, that looks like it could be in, like, OKC. Yeah, Grand Island, that's another. Yeah, the thing about Greensburg is that those tornado motions, because like the tornado was still on the ground during the occlusion process. So as the mesocyclone was occluding, and that was one of those where it was just like absolute crazily cyclical style storm. Yeah. Shout out to this camera crew. News 9, getting it done in the notch. Yeah, Grand Island, Nebraska, of course. Those are like the night of the Twisters. Iconic. Ely's Path, that's another one that's nutty. Yeah, that Grand Island event was definitely a fun one. Crazy one to think about. We were in Grand Island last Chasecation. Only briefly. I think there's actually like a park memorial thing for the Night of the Twisters up there, but we didn't get the chance to see it. This is the beautiful Sharon, Connecticut EF0 that we caught on the drone. This is my chase terrain. Isn't that the most absurd looking terrain you get to chase in, right? We were happy to have a field. Look at, we even got the luxury of having a farm field to look at the thing with, but still needed the drone. Oh, jeez. Anyway. The parent Supercell, the Greensburg, was definitely putting the Fujiwara effect on full display. I don't even know if that's necessarily Fujiwara, though. I think that's just the natural occlusion process of, you know, this crazy... Maybe, like, if you get, like, kind of rotations within the like, the parent mesocyclone. But it was just, like, updraft handoff after updraft handoff. Like, it's not super crazy to see, you know, those left-hand kind of helical turns that, you know, tornadoes make. Wayne, Nebraska, 2013. Anywho, I think I'm gonna... How long we been going? For almost 2 hours now, right? I think we're gonna go for like another... We'll probably sign off at 10 Eastern here. Gotta get up nice and early for work tomorrow. So, but as always, thanks everyone for coming out and joining in the second ever June 1st live stream. These are fun. I like getting the opportunity to kind of see all you. Oh, we got Colton. Colton Flint is in the chat. Fellow Northeast Chaser. Good to hear from you, my friend. Berthoud. If you ever want to look at tornado trap, oops, wrong thing. Let me pull this back up again. Start the screen share. I want to look up tornado archive. I don't know why there's the dot there. This is a cool place to check out tornado paths and stuff. Always puts in a random, ooh, a nice little Midwest outbreak. Let's turn down the filters here. Let's get rid of these guys. Let's look at some of the more fun stuff, for lack of a better term. There we go. There's Grand Island. Yeah, some of the Grand Island tracks. Fun stuff. There we go. Here's Greensburg. Yeah, full occlusion. Historical derechos. There's a couple big derechos you can think of. What's that Midwest one? 1998. Was that July something? 1998. List of derecho events. Or some of the ones I'm thinking of. There was that double derecho, which I think was back in 2016. Which one was the double derecho? Or was it 2017? We had a derecho here in New England. Yeah, that's one. In 2020. In the fall of all times. That was crazy. Yeah, 1998 derecho. That's the one I think that's like the mother of all derechos, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this one. Yeah, the Midwest derecho. Yeah, that one was a monster. I remember that. No, actually I don't remember. Like, I don't physically remember it, but I remember that being one being discussed. Oh, the Spencer, South Dakota tornado. Oh, that's a good one. That's a great tornado to look up. Because that one had like a couple different phases, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if there's video of it, but yeah, this guy. Yeah, this is the image I was thinking of with the huge mesocyclone. Yeah, Colton, you were on top of a mountain for that derecho, the October one, right? Was I mistaken by that? I feel like you were on top of a mountain or something for that. Mike has crown. This made 130 mile an hour winds. Yeah, that. Imagine Imagine like being on the edge of Lake Michigan with that shelf cloud rolling through. That'd probably be surreal. Spencer said. Oh, really? Is that the case? 35 mil. Huh. Yeah, of course, Manchester is a monster. Iconic.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my office. But the desk is over here, and so...
Better help. I need better help to see this wedge.
Alright, don't, okay, okay, good.
Go back.
Oh my god. Listen to it roar! Big picture! Are you ready to go north? No! Let's go on that road! Alex, get in the car!
20 years later, Reed's still screaming in videos.
Get in the car!
Oh wow, the 20th anniversary will be in what, 5 days? Wow.
Cameras are all screwed on. What's wrong?
That's just South Dakota. Yeah, Manchester's a ghost town now. Like, actually. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like actually just like meets the definition for ghost town. Here's another fun thing. Go down to Google Earth here in a second. Hopefully I didn't save the latest damage path that I'm using. I might not have saved it. Sweet. I didn't save it. Okay. Manchester. We were actually kind of up near this way during last chasecation. Yeah, this is like what was left of Manchester. I think it's just like one actual like property left. But if you go back into like satellite imagery, I wonder if you can get anything before 2004. Hey, there we go. So 1991 was the last baseline before the tornado. El Nino is here now. R.I.P. Manchester. Before, after. To today. Maybe next time I'm in Chasecation, I'll go check it out if we're up there. If we have the pleasure of being up in South Dakota. I do like being up in South Dakota, particularly the Badlands. Pretty sweet. But all of our ventures this year, like all of our chasing was, we did one day like up here, and the rest of it was like here. Like the rest of the chase trip was literally here, like this square, which is fine by me. Not too much driving. Everybody hanging out in Clovis summer camp. Hey, look. There's the town that bears my name. We didn't have the pleasure of going that far west, but... Oh, we should have went out there and gotten like our... Oh, we have an airport too? No way. The Moriarty Airport. I'm gonna lay my claim and take ownership of the town. Klein's Corners. Interesting. Yeah, but we were out in these two towns chasing. Anyway. I think, folks, I'm gonna close it out for tonight. It's a nice 10 o'clock. Let's see, some final closing thoughts. Thank you for everyone that joined. Thank you to those particularly that also sent super chats. I am blessed for your support. Coming up in the near future, I'm working on the next damage analysis video now. So that'll be hopefully in the next 2 weeks, if that. That'll be coming out. Hunt a Storm episode 2, season 2 will be out after that. And then after that, I don't know. Probably something either damage analysis or maybe an engineering style video. I want to do some builds and stuff soon, so I want to do those. But thanks guys for coming and hang out. This has been fun. I love doing these things. It's kind of cool to kind of interact with y'all, and yeah, we'll do it again. I don't know, maybe another month or so, something like that. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Tornado stories. I still love that reel of yours with the RFD surge that I sent out to you. never stop chasing. Amen. So with that, thanks everyone, and we'll talk again soon, right? Cheers.